Budget 2026 is on February 1st, where our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the budget. Everybody is desperately waiting for that day, waiting to know that what's in it for them, what's not. Today, in this special episode of Future Focus Budget Good Returns, we are going to speak with Bank of India's Mutual Fund's Chief Investment Officer, Alok Singh. Hello, Alok. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So the budget season has started. A lot of expectations, maybe not, on Feb 1st when Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister, will present the budget. My first question to you is, are you expecting more reliefs for the taxpayers this year?
So, I think after what the government has done in the last budget on the personal tax side, as well as the GST rate rationalization, which they have done during the year, I think there is very little scope for any further changes, and that also so quickly, because end of the day they also have to get some incremental data to see what they have done is sufficient, not sufficient, is there a scope, or if there's some errors which they have done on their side. And I think it is too early for anything to change on the personal tax side or the corporate side. However, there are some discussions about some specific exemptions on the category based on which, like sovereign wealth funds getting exemption from the capital gains and things like that. I think those things can be their part of the budget if at all government sees merit in that. But for that, I think for the resident individual or the corporates, I don't think there is anything one should expect.
Well said. That is the overall market expectations anyways. Moving forward, any incentives that you expect that in this budget will be presented for the startups or MSMEs?
Yes, there are some discussions over there. And also if you look at, with the global uncertainty, we have seen that some amount of the funding which was available earlier, or rather I say that the funding which was easily available earlier is drying up a bit, right? So the getting incremental funding for the startups is not as easy as it was 3-4 years back, and that is leading to lot of startups not able to get the proof of the concept stage also, right? So I think from that point of view, it is important that the government steps in. Which shape and form is always debatable through a special fund or some other vehicle. But I think there is, if we want our startup ecosystem to remain relevant, and then in that case funding is important, and if the external funding is drying up, then I think sovereign has to pick it up from there, I think, and then there is valid reasons for the government to look at it, whether it will be part of the budget or outside, because the government has done the work of de-glamorizing the budgets to the extent that it has become a statement of intent. So let's see, but I think there is a valid reason for the government to look at this.
Right. Alok, you did speak about the global uncertainties. Now, very recently, US President Donald Trump has been, threatening 500% tariffs on not only on India, but China, and obviously Russia is always on the go. So, quick question on that. What should be the top economic priority for 2026?
Of course, there is very little you can do in terms of what other people intend to do, and there are economic interests which everyone has, and we should try and protect that, in a way that it, it is in our favor. But I think look at this way, that there are so many countries on the globe, right? But there are only few names which keep on coming up again and again, which like China, India, right? So which means that you are relevant. That means people want to be associated with you, and we know that there are certain reasons for that. So I think from that perspective, that rhetoric of doing this and that is there, because if you are not relevant, why will you talk about it?
Absolutely.
Right? Now, in that context, if you look at, obviously, and the government is trying to their level best to protect our interests, but sometimes it also has a negative consequences, right? So how does, while the government is negotiating it with a good intent, how are they able to navigate through the negative consequences, right? I think budget statements could be a good way to guide the market, that how the government is thinking about it, because especially the places or the sectors which are more impacted by this entire negotiations which are going on, and we know that some of them are majorly impacted. So I think we will like to see government addressing that issue, because otherwise it has a second degree impact, right? Because if a unit gets closed, then maybe few hundred workers also are jobless. That is a second degree impact.
Sure. Coming to the most interesting questions, especially for GoodReturns viewers, stock market का क्या expectations है? What are the expectations from the stock market traders, investors that may happen in the budget 2026?
So it's very difficult to predict for the traders, because their attention span is different and it varies. But certainly with the geopolitics behaving the way it is, I believe that the volatility will continue to be on a higher side, which give opportunities to traders, but also it reminds the investors that you have to live through the near-term noise and focus on the long term. And I think from the long term, medium to long term point of view, I think our economy in last 1 year, while the markets have not done that great, has shown a good sense of resilience in terms of coming back, right? So if you look at from the growth which was sub 6% to a growth rate of above 8%, right? And other matrices in terms of the GST collections being very decent despite the rate rationalization, the demand coming back. I think that is showing that our economy has a good resilience to stand in what is happening globally, and I think markets should recognize it once the mind space get a bit located by the near-term noises which are like around tariffs and all, because today that's one of the biggest point of discussion. So if we see that getting eased off, and ultimately it has to, these are the things which cannot persist forever, whether they settle for good or whether they settle for bad, but certainly they have to settle, and then subsequent to that, I think we should come back to the basic, that how is our economy doing. And I think, it's very heartening to see that ultimately the global guys have to give an upgrade to your GDP growth rate, right? From roughly 6.5%, which they were predicting at the start of the year, most of them are above 7%, right? So that means that the economy is doing good. And if it is that, then the markets cannot remain in denial mode for a long period of time.
Agreed, Alok. One last question before I let you go. Do you think this budget will be reform focused or growth focused?
Yeah, I think reforms leads to growth, right? So if you have to get growth, then you have to reform things. You have to cut a lot of the procedural part of it. And the reforms can be both. They may not be like a visionary document and all, but the procedural part, if you can straighten and make it less cumbersome, I think that itself is quite a good wealth creator, right? For the businesses. So I see that, so I see this budget more of talking about the government intent, where they want to go, what all they want to change. And as I said before, the government, the present government has not restricted itself to the budget day to take the decision whatever are needed. They have been taking wherever, whenever it is required. So I think from that point of view, I will like to see which way they are looking at it. They continue to remain more focused on the capital side, or they are going a bit populist in terms of the revenue expenditure, right? Secondly, and very important, is that whatever they envisaged last year in terms of the expenditure, are they able to meet that, right? Because that is important from the point that, from actual execution point of view. Also the fact that whether our economy has an ability to absorb that kind of capital expenditure, which is equally important, because if your absorption rates goes down, then your growth rates cannot sustain, right? So I think these two things are more important for me in the near term outlook of the budget.
Right. Very interesting insights, Alok. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's hope for the best for the budget. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.